Joining me now, Carrie Severino, Judicial Crisis Network Chief Counsel and Policy Director and co-author of Justice on Trial, the Kavanaugh Confirmation and the Future of the Supreme Court. Carrie, good to see you tonight. Let's start there with this from Luzerne County. Do they have legs to stand on in terms of asking her to recuse herself based on comments by the president?
No, that has never been the historical standard. You had, for example, Justices Sotomayor and Kagan sat on numerous cases that President Obama was involved in during an election year. Same thing for Ginsburg and Breyer. It has never been the standard that you have to recuse yourself in cases that involve the president who appointed you, including election year cases. Simply, they're trying to invent something new here.
I want to show you a soundbite from Joe Biden, because one of the big stories has been whether or not Democrats, who are clearly very outraged about the fact that the president did add Amy Coney Barrett to the court at such a late date in this election season. Here's what he said about what he would consider doing to change the dynamic there.
There is a question about whether or not it's a lifetime appointment. I'm not going to attempt to change that at all. There's some literature among constitutional scholars about the possibility of going from one court to another court, not just always staying the whole time in the Supreme Court. But I have made no judgment, my word. My word is about made no judgment.
So what do you think about that idea that justices should rotate around the federal benches and the Supreme Court rather than just stay on the Supreme Court to serve their term?
Well, sure, he's right. That's something that's been floated by constitutional scholars. It's still a question whether you could actually do that by statute or whether you'd need a constitutional amendment to change that. But the big thing here is what he's trying not to talk about, because none of the calls from the left that we've heard are let's rotate justices. It's all about court packing. That is what the liberal voices on the left want to do. That's what Joe Biden doesn't want to acknowledge what his position is on it. But trust me, if he's forced and pushed by the left, there's no way he would stand up to that pressure. And we're seeing that is what the left wants to see. They want FDR-style court packing, where you add seats to make the judges into a super legislature rather than having them just sit back and do the judging, as we know that Amy Coney Barrett has promised to do.
Interesting. I mean, he was in Warm Springs, Georgia today, which is one of the homes of FDR. Here's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She was very succinct and to the point in her tweet today. She said, expand the court. So we know where she stands on that. Quick question for you with regard to Brett Kavanaugh, who some say tipped his hand a bit in terms of the way he would view these cases with regard to a contested election. He said, it says under the U.S. Constitution, the state courts do not have a blank check to rewrite state election laws for federal elections. He wrote in a footnote on a concurring opinion in the past. Is he sort of indicating that he doesn't think that states should make changes at this point?
Oh, yeah, but what he's saying is totally not controversial, to my opinion. The idea that federal courts and state courts need to be very careful overturning things the legislatures say is something that's very common. It's something that that is going to apply both ways. That might help Republicans in some cases. It might help Democrats in other cases.
Carrie Severino, thank you very much. Good to see you tonight. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.